It's the 13th season of the GT4 European Series, and the grids grow in number and definitely improve in quality all the time. And if you're fans of cars with engines that really rumble, you like V8 racers, you like the V8 Racing Camaros. They're first and second on the grid. It's the last race of the opening day of racing here at Zandvoort, the circuit that's now new, shinier than it ever been before, with two new bank corners for these drivers to experience in racing for the first time. One is the Hugenholzbocht, which is the tight left-hander, not quite as tight now, behind the pit, and the other is the final corner of the lap, the Arie Luijendijk-bocht, banked curve. Now there it is, that feeds the cars round onto the start-finish straight, that may be overtaking, more overtaking down to Tarzan. You get a good run out of this corner, get into the slipstream of a car ahead, and then Tarzan, always a corner at the end of the main straight that entices drivers to make a move. Late in the day, though, it is September, the light is dropping, it's a 1 hour race with a rolling start. It's going to be cracking. The two Camaros on the front row, Duncan Houseman in the black one, Jo Rapanga in the metallic blue one, then Theo Nue, just a blink of an eye behind in the better of the two AGS Aston Martins, AGS events. One's at the front end of the grids, one at the back, but Theo Nue, it's a two-driver race. Don't forget there is a driver change midway through. So we've got two Camaros on the front of the grid. The second row is an Aston Martin, and the best of the Pro-Am racers, the Allied Racing Porsche of Jan Kaspalik. Then the better place, the Toyota Supras, Stefan Lemaire, another Porsche Cayman in 6th place. So a good mix of cars, but it really is all about the rumbling Camaros on the front row of the grid. Dutch racing team, the V8 racing team, if it's got a V8, they'll race it. And Duncan Houseman has been around this circuit so many times, thousands of times over the years. He was the Pro-Am champion of this series 3 years ago, 2017. Winner of the Nürburgring 24 hours as long ago as 2005. And the Houseman family just so much part of the history of many European racing circuits, but most certainly here at Zandvoort. Theo Nue, he's going to take the battle to them. He was just down on Jo Rapanga by 7/1000ths of a second, so slap on the chin guard for him, and his teammate Valentin Hasclo will be looking to finish out this 1 hour race. So the Aston Martin Vantage tucked down behind those two Camaros at the front of the grid. 4th place on the grid is the best place of the Allied Racing Porsches. It's the leading Pro-Am runner, and that's Jan Kaspalik. It's a car that always goes very, very well indeed, and that will be shared with Bastien Boos, who was very quick in practice sessions for that. In fact, topped some of the times. So when you've got a two-driver race, it's about getting the good balance between your drivers. And Bastien Boos looks so he's getting faster and faster all the time. And where would he want to win more than his home circuit at Zandvoort? Can't think of anywhere. So full grid of cars. 5th place on, no, just a little bit further back. That's Willem Meyer, car number 30. Young racer really starting to make strides as he steps up to GT4 with the Seleslar Racing team. Change to green, it says on the rear wing. He'll be looking to change to taking the checkered flag. Willem Meyer sharing that this weekend with Paul Celias, another Dutch racer, really starting to make progress. Great mix of cars. Even Giacomo, this is the Century Porsche Ticino Porsche Caymans. We've got another Porsche Cayman in front, that's Jan Kaspalik. And again, all drivers, I'm thinking what's going to happen down when they get to the first right-hander, followed immediately by the second. It's a two-part corner at Tarzan, very lightly banked, big gravel trap beyond, and certainly many a car has ended up just running out of options, being on the outside line there. Dive down the inside line, it's a little slower, but you're less likely to get a clonk, so it's going to be very busy down to Tarzan on this, the opening lap. But for all these drivers, they've been through it in practice, they've been through it in qualifying, they really want to know what it's like going through the Arie Luijendijk-bocht in race situation to see if they can make a move down the start-finish straight. That's definitely the ambition. As yet, it's proved quite hard to come by, but that's before the GT runners have had their say. Looks though all the cars, all 18, are present on the grid. If the last car on the right-hand side of the grid, as we look at it, it's Dario Cerati. Yes, I can see CR, but let's go down to the grid. And driver of car 15 on the grid, NM Racing Team, Javier Loreas and Luc Ibanez.
Luca here, middle of the pack, very much busy into first turn. First time racing on the Zandvoort circuit. Obviously you've tested and qualified. How are you looking forward to the race?
It's difficult because this track is so difficult to pass anyone because we don't have more speed limit, and it's difficult because it's in the middle of the pack, the first corner, the start, but Xavier, he go to push and to go with the finish in the podium, with the standings of the championship and all.
Where is the best opportunity for overtaking?
In the second sector. The Mercedes in second sector is so fast, and we can try to pass anyone there.
I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, that's Luke Ibanez and his teammate Javier Loveras is going to start from 8th on the grid, the NM Racing Team Mercedes, but they already have 2 wins to their name this season, so they've got the form, they've got the pedigree, but unfortunately here, not the grid position. Staunch supporters of the championship, the Turkish racing team Borusan Automotive Autosport, that will be starting just 1 position further back in 9th. Toyota Supra, new shape for us in 2020, very popular car. I think a lot of teams are looking at that for subsequent seasons, because certainly CMR have settled down with it very, very well indeed. Not as well placed as they wanted this time around. Young racer Antoine Potti in 10th place overall, but the sister car starting in the hands of Stéphane Lemeray is 5 places further forward in 5th overall. Top runner in the AM class, just about down there alongside the Porsche we're looking at now. That's Jörg Wiebahn's car, but we're looking for the SRT, the bright yellow Mercedes from the Salazar Racing Team. There it is, Bob Herbert. He loves racing it so much he won't share the car with anyone else. He does all the races solo. Doesn't gain any advantage in the pits, just enjoys racing it, so doesn't change over to a teammate. He stays on board. There's a minimum time at which they must be at a standstill. Now, one team that expected to be further forward this year was our Envision STS with their BMWs. They look bright, colourful, but unfortunately for them, that one, number 111, is starting back in 13th position, and alongside Baz Schouten is his teammate Koen Bogaerts on the outside of the road. His is the one with the green flash, the bluey turquoise flashes, car number 110. They've got a long way to go towards the front of the field in their BMW M4s. They know this circuit well, though. They can gauge the conditions well, but right now it's bone dry, which is good news after a day that started cold and just slightly damp. Little flurries of rain, didn't come to a great deal. And up towards the tail of the grid, Giuseppe Jesi for Autolando Sport. The sister car's a few positions further back. And for Giuseppe, he's got a new teammate this weekend, Jacopo Barotto, and likewise his teammate Dario Cerati, who's starting last, has another new teammate, J.M. Littman, prolific British racer who basically doesn't like a weekend to go past if he's not racing something. So he'll be taking that Autolando Sport Porsche Cayman over, starting 18th and last. Let's see where that one goes. But it's all about the V8 Racing Camaros on the front row of the grid, and then just a tiny fraction of a second, 0.007 of a second behind them on the qualifying times was Tio Nue. So all the times really, really close at the top of the grid. 0.3 of a second exactly between first and third position. Then a little bit more of a gap. In fact, another half second and more back to Jan Kaspalik in 4th place. So we're about to go racing. It'll be a 1-hour race with a driver change. So the pace car gets off, waiting for the signal to be given to the Camaros to follow suit and go around. And of course, with that rolling start, they're going to be 2 by 2 through. What a fantastic sight through the Arie Luyendyk curve. We saw it already with the GT World Challenge Europe race today. GT cars, GT3, GT4, they're big machines. They look very, very spectacular 2 by 2 through that bank final corner. But when you get them side by side, you can just see how much lower the inside car is, and it really, really emphasises how steep the banking is in a way that you don't see when the cars are going through one at a time. So it really is a massive new feature. The revised, reshaped, reprofiled circuit here at Zandvoort. So the Camaro's on the front row, then the Aston Martin, the Porsche of Nue and Kaspalik on the second row. The third row, the Stéphane Lemeray in the Toyota, Ivan Jacoba in his Porsche, Willem Meyer in his Mercedes, and Javier Loveras in his Mercedes on row number 4. Row 5, the first of the BMWs. Bologbazi and Antoine Potti in the second of the Toyota Supras. Jörg Wiebahn, a long-time supporter of this championship, and Bob Herbert, super enthusiastic racer in the AM class, the top runner in the AM class in 12th overall. Baz Schouten and teammate Koen Bogaerts starting rather further back than they'd like to on row number 7 in their BMWs. Then Giuseppe Jesi and Ibrahim Okiai, who will also, like Bob Herbert, being running a solo race this afternoon. And then the back row, Gilles Vanderlei in the second of the Aston Martins, teammate Tio Nue, but separated by 14 positions. And finally, Dario Cerati in the second of the two Autolando Sport Porsche Caymans at the rear of the grid. 1 hour of racing lies ahead of us. As a lot of the headlights coming on now. The light is starting to fade here at Zandvoort. The track conditions, though, absolutely tip-top. The best they've been all day. It's dry. No longer are the curbs wet. No longer is the grass wet. And no excuses for the drivers. But, of course, they'll be saying it was the first time I raced through the bank corners at Hugenholz. And likewise at Arie Luijendijk box. Some will win and some will lose out in these battles. But it's going to be fearsome racing. 18 cars coming out to play here at Zandvoort. The race start just moments away. Cars now getting closer and closer together. Into the Hans-Ernst-Bock they get. The front runners will slow right down to let the others get into 2x2 formation. So everyone at the back of the field has a duty to those at the front to get as close as they can, as soon as they can. Now, slowing it right down. The two Camaros coming around behind the pace car as they take the approach 2x2, or very nearly 2x2, to the penultimate corner. That's the Kumo Bock. We need the upper Camaro, the blue one, which is starting second from the grid, from the outside line, to be alongside when it comes to the exit of this, the final corner. Take a look at it. Banked, wonderfully banked, the Arie Luijendijk Bock. Not easy to go 2x2 on anything other than the formation lap. All holding their position very well. We need the fourth place Jan Kaspalik Porsche to move up alongside Tio Nue. Tio in that Aston Martin, very keen to be as close as he possibly can to the pole starter Duncan Hausman. He's got the lead for the moment. The safety car withdraws. The red lights, all 5 are on the starting gantry. How long are they going to hold? They're going to go green. Who's going to make the best start? Certainly the BMWs in the back trying to make a move. And Stefan Lemeray looking very positive, coming up the middle into trying to get third place from the Aston Martin in his Toyota, but around the outside Jan Kaspalik goes into third. He tries to sweep around the outside of the second of the Camaros, but poleman Duncan Hausman has it under control. Jora Panger shifts up, and the person who's lost out is the Aston Martin racer Tio Nue, and he dropped back to fifth. He's now up into fourth. He's got past Lemeray again. Oh, Jan Kaspalik getting very, very close to the tail of the second place Camaro of Jora Panger, but already breaking clear. Got it tidy, wasn't challenged in any way. Pace man, the man who started from pole, Duncan Hausman, in behind, tidy as well, but much, much closer. 2x2, a little bit of body contact. That was Bolek Bazi hitting the back and spinning around the car that started sixth. Unfortunately for Ivan Jacoma, it's his car that goes for rotation. A rotation on the approach to Shavelak. How scary is that? But he's got it going again. Don't think there's any damage, but that was a big, hairy, scary moment. Bolek Bazi had gained a few positions, and a little bit of a clash there, but we got away with it. Second place backwards, very, very close indeed, but Duncan Hausman stretching his advantage over his teammate from V8 Racing. Drivers just not quite getting their cars where they want to at the moment on the circuit. Javier Oliveira seems to be gaining places. And he has to, because he fell down a little bit. In fact, I was trying to work out why he was so far down. Car number 15 started way further up, started in 8th, but he's fallen down the order. I think he actually lost a bit of momentum when there was the clash of the aquamarine car, BMW and Chen Bolek Bazi, clashing with the car that started in 6th, even Jacoma. Then I think avoiding the incident, people lost momentum. So certainly for Lloveras, the Spanish racer for NM Racing, he fell back. But it's not a case of anyone else falling back. It's a case of the race leader Duncan Hausman pulling clear, 1.65 seconds clear of his teammate at the end of the opening lap, and then another second back to Jan Kaspalik. Tio Nue in the Aston Martin, who started third. In terms of pace in qualifying, those first 3 runners are clear of the rest of the field, but at the moment, unfortunately for Tio Nue, his Aston Martin is in 4th. Did I say 4th? Making a move for 3rd. Will it stick? No, not got the better exit speed coming out of Hugenholz box. And now what's happening is that Stefan Lemeray in the Toyota in 5th place has closed right in. Such a tricky corner now, that new Banks hairpin at Hugenholz. But now what's happening is Jan Kaspalik, eyes totally on the mirror, almost not looking ahead, as he's got so much pressure from behind from Tio Nue. And Stefan Lemeray is looking really positive in that 5th place Toyota Supra. First 2 cars, the Camaros of V8 Racing, stretching their legs, stretching clear. And in fact, the first part of this lap, Jora Panger, the metallic blue one, has started to close down on the race leader, Duncan Hausman. Don't forget, Duncan, though, was 1 2/3 seconds the good at the end of the opening lap. But this time around, it's looking quite good for the driver in 2nd place. Willem Meyer starting to go well. The grey and green Mercedes now right on the tail of this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place. Car number 30, Willem Meyer, and in behind Kaspalik is starting to catch him as well. So suddenly we're going to have a 5-car train for 3rd place, and all along those 2 V8 Racing Camaros disappearing off into the distance. What we've yet to see in a really clear example is getting a good slipstream down the start-finish straight after a slingshot out of the final corner. It's happening now, though, except at the end of the main straight, somehow Jan Kaspalik, instead of being closed down on, stretched away a little bit from Théo Noué. So the sleeker Porsche Cayman pulling away from the Aston Martin. Around the twisty bits, the Aston Martin has a little bit more employment. Théo Noué not afraid to attack. He took a tighter line last time. This time he's going wider on the exit and getting a better exit speed. You've got to experiment. This time around he worked out how he lost ground to Jan Kaspalik. Jan, 3rd overall, leading the Pro-Am class. Is there going to be a move from the Aston Martin driver who started 3rd, got muscled down to 5th place in the opening couple of corners, now back in 4th. Théo Noué, what can he do about Jan Kaspalik? Actually, one of the drivers who's really made ground in this race is Baz Schouten. He started down in 13th place. There he is, some distance back from 7th, but he's in 8th place overall. He's 2 and a bit seconds down on the bright blue Kaspalik BMW. Leading runner in AM, I almost don't need to look down the charts, it's Bob Herbert, 12th place overall. He started 12th, he's running 12th. And he's got 1 car, Code Bogut's, the 2nd of the R Envision STS BMWs between him and the next car in the AM class, which is Ibrahim Okyai, the 2nd of the Orisan Automotive BMWs. Duncan Houseman has controlled this since the start of the race. It was 2 seconds the good last time round at the start-finish line. Looks like it's possibly even gone out a tiny bit more over Jo Rapanga. Let's see what the interval is with 2.4 seconds. And then suddenly we've got a change, not a change for position, but suddenly Théo Noué, getting a little bit loose under braking the Aston Martin, instead of attacking Jan Kaspalik for 3rd overall, is suddenly having to defend like crazy. Lights being flashed by the Toyota behind, Stéphane Lemeray, wanting to do everything he can to unsettle Théo Noué. 3rd, 4th, 5th, almost nose to tail. Tiny little gap. Then Willem Meyer, 6th for SRT in his Mercedes, and then Kaspalik a few laps ago was a little bit adrift, but he is closed off the tail. So these cars from 3rd place to 7th, still not a great deal between all of them. And what you have to do at Zandvoort is apply pressure, and the good thing here now with this new banked corner at Hugenholz, it does afford different lines, and different lines afford different possibilities on the run, all the way up over the top of the hill and on towards Scheivlak and then down to Mastersbach. But for Théo Noué, he wants to be attacking Jan Kaspalik. Jan now starting to escape in that 2nd place. This is bad news indeed for Théo Noué, but he's being kept very, very busy by the Toyota Super Racer Stéphane Lemeray, and they're being joined. Willem Meyer is now on Lemeray's tail, and he in turn, Lemeray flashes his lights. He needs to be flashed because suddenly there it is, car number 30, Seleslar Racing Team, pushing on really, really hard, and just managed to shake off Kaspalik in the aquamarine BMW behind him. Actually, if anything, I sense that 2nd to 3rd has come down 1.3 seconds, so it has. Jan Kaspalik, having got clear of the Aston Martin, he was able to concentrate on his own race, his own pace. He started to catch the 2nd place V8 Racing Camaro of Jo Rapanga, who's 3 and a little bit, 3.1 seconds now down on the race leader, his teammate Duncan Houseman. So many different lines being attempted, experienced, seeing if they can profit or gain from them through the Hugenholz bomb. You get it right and you benefit all the way up over the 2 crest, then down through Scheivlak all the way to the Masters curve. And right now Jan Kaspalik has got his ears pinned back, and he's definitely catching Jo Rapanga. It's going to be a while yet until 3rd place may become 2nd. We've still got the 2 V8 Racing Camaros at the head of the field. This wonderful battle from 4th place, Théo Noué through Stéphane Lemeray's Toyota, Willem Meyer's Mercedes to the Kaspalik aquamarine Ottosan BMW in the background. And a gap of a couple of seconds back to the second of the BMWs, which is Baz Schuten, who is starting to pick up the pace more and more. Give him a handful more laps, he may be joining this battle for 4th place backwards. Jan Kaspalik in 3rd place in one of the Allied Racing Caymans. The Porsche getting closer and closer to Jo Rapanga. Haven't even got to the 10-minute mark, and this race looking very, very tight indeed. Nobody has any answers to the pace of the race leader. Duncan Houseman down to Tarzan he goes. His advantage now 3.8 seconds, let's call it. First back to his teammate Jo Rapanga, who's only 1.1 seconds clear of the chasing Jan Kaspalik. Jan Kaspalik in turn has got a similar margin back to Théo Noué. Théo does not have that margin behind. He's got a lot of pressure from Stefan Lemeray in the CMR Supra. The last few laps have been much better ones. Every lap for the last 3 laps. Cemboluk Bazi, car number 12. BMW has gained ground on the car in front of him. Now he's taking a run at Willem Meyer. Better exit and pulls it off at the top of the slope. That's through the Rob Slotemacher box, so that was a very unusual place to pass, but clearly so much more speed out of the Hugenholtz hairpin. In fact, he made it halfway to Scheiblack. That was a phenomenal move there for the Turk. Down to Boch 9 they go, and trying to atone for losing a position. Willem Meyer in the grey and green Mercedes puts himself on the outside at turn 10, but you will definitely lose ground around there. So he's going to have to pop back in behind and accept that he's running in 7th place rather than the 6th he had been in earlier down that infield straight. Bob Herbert, top in the AM class, started 12th. He's now running 13th, but he's suddenly got attention from behind because it's the 2nd car in the AM class. It's Ibrahim Okyay who's running the whole race, as is his rival. No driver changes for them. So Bob Herbert only recently overtaken by Kurt Burgarts in the number 110 BMW in front of them, but he wants it to get back in front. He wants a cushion because the BMW behind him is the one that he's fighting with for class honours. Talking of fighting, suddenly we have a battle for 2nd place because Jo Rapanga has fallen right back onto the bonnet of Jan Kaspalik. Jan's got 1.6 seconds of a cushion, so he's safe. No challenge from behind from the Aston Martin. AGS Events Aston Martin of Théo Noué, who's got his hands full trying to hold off Stefan Lemeray. But this battle for 2nd place, it looked after the opening couple of laps, so that was it. The V8 Racing Camaros were off and away. Jan Kaspalik definitely using all his years and years of experience of GT4 racing to just keep his tyres sweet and shake off the challenge from behind, and now he's really putting Jo Rapanga under a lot of pressure. I mean, Jan's been fighting in GT4 European Championships for, this is the 7th consecutive year. Jo Rapanga very much at the other end of the scale of experience, effectively really just stretching his legs for the first time this year. His teammate Timon Nabour will be waiting to take it over, but for Jo Rapanga and V8 Racing going very nicely at the moment. Their cars 1st and 2nd. All along though, the race leader Duncan Houseman stretching clear, nearly 5 seconds to the good at the moment. And the best finish to date across the 6 races experienced so far for V8 Racing for this duo. The duo in 2nd place is a 2nd place. Running 2nd, will they equal their best? Certainly no answer. The pace of the sister car, the black car of Duncan Houseman. Duncan's not been under pressure, made that good start, pulled away on the opening lap. It's remained the same ever since. Cemboluk Bazi in the number 12 BMW. He picked off Willem Meyer a lap ago. Now he's seeing what he can do, setting off after the Toyota Supra of Stefan Lemeray, and certainly that would be welcomed by Théo Noué. He wants the pressure off his tail. He needs Lemeray to be looking backwards as well as forwards. Cemboluk Bazi seeing what he can do. Yeah, nice little exit from Hugenholtz. He did that a few laps ago, gained a lot of ground. That's why he was able to pull off a passing manoeuvre right there with the Rob Slotemacher bomb. Very unusual to see that much of an advantage. Thierry Neue would have hoped to be running in third place after qualifying. The Aston Martin was so close to the V8 Racing Camaros in front of them, all three of them covered by precisely 0.3 of a second. But in this early stage of the race, it's worth stressing, we're not even at quarter distance in this 1 hour race. Aston Martin is back in fourth and being challenged from behind. The Toyota in fifth place, pushing very hard. Stefan Lemeray at the wheel. Easy to get carried away to think it's a short race, but it's a full hour, and there's the driver change in the middle sector of the race. So it's not about being a quick sprint, it's an hour of racing. It's about nursing your machinery, your equipment, and most importantly, your tyres. It seems this time around that Jo Rapanga had a better run onto the start-finish straight. What's the margin? Back to Jan Kaspalik. Oh, he's actually Kaspalik. Again, we see how sleek and quick in a straight line down the start-finish straight the Porsche Cayman is. It closes right in. 0.55 of a second in arrears in that battle for second place. Again, marginally different lines to the Hülkenholzbock, but very much drivers starting to favour that higher line. It sometimes allows them to get on the power a little bit earlier as they go out of the corner and therefore carry more speed up over the rise through that wonderful twisting section, where we see the third place Porsche negotiating the dip and then the climb and then the drop past Schädlach. Jan Battle is still looking very, very good indeed. BMW at the front, Kern Burgos, he's in the silver class, but yellow and black Mercedes Bob Herbert is in the AM class. Ibrahim Okiai tucked in behind him in the number 13 BMW, also in the AM class. It won't be too long until they're all caught by even Giacomo, who was spun, remember, on the opening lap on the approach to Schädlach. What a scary place to go round. He was fighting for about 5th place at the time, but Century Porsche Ticino Cayman now up to 15th overall and closing in on this little AM battle. There he is in the background, the black Cayman with the white and green colours on its tail, flank, roof, everywhere. Is catching them very quickly indeed, in fact. I must say, in the AM class, it's looking very, very evenly balanced. Bob Herbert's had such a strong start to his season. He's won 3 out of the 4 races he contested in the AM class, but for the Turkish racing team, Borusan Automotive, it's a very, very good run, most impressive run so far this season, I would say, for Ibrahim Okiai. It's still far from over, and he's doing the entire race, so he's going to be quite weary come the end. But for Ibrahim, he couldn't race anything other than the BMW. He's been Turkey's BMW importer for a very long time, involved in rallying as much as racing, but really enjoying his running in the GT4 European Series. Just looking for changes in momentum. What I'm starting to sense is Stefan Lemeray is no longer challenging quite Thierry Neue. Just got a small advantage, about I don't know, 0.6 of a second, because suddenly, look, the Toyota Supra being pushed very hard indeed by Cem Bolokbazi, who's taken chunks out of him for the last 3 laps, if not more, consecutively. That said, we suddenly get to a point on the circuit where the Toyota is a little more wieldy, is able to open out a very small advantage onto that infield straight. Actually very, very even in that run of cars. So Thierry Neue in 4th place, through Stefan Lemeray, Bolokbazi backwards. Meyer just falling off the tail a little bit. He's running 7th in the number 30 Celestar Racing Mercedes. There it is with the green flashes on the grey flanks in the background of the shot, but was demoted not long ago by the number 12 BMW of Bolokbazi. Hasn't been able to fight back, but he's not falling away too badly. Duncan Heisman, 4.7 seconds ahead of his teammate Jo Rapanga. Those 2 V8 Racing Camaros, 1st and 2nd. Jan Kaspalik still tucked in there, just 0.7 of a second down on Rapanga in 3rd overall. Then he's got a margin of nearly a second over Thierry Neue. Neue would have expected more from this race, but his teammate Valentin Haas-Clos is certainly prepared to give it some in the second half of this race. grey Mercedes with the red flashes, tucked in behind Baz Schuten. It's Javier Lloveras for the NM Racing team. He's already had 2 wins this year, 2 wins at different circuits. That's the important thing. A win at Misano and a win at the Nürburgring. Would love to do something here this weekend, but unfortunately went backwards at the start of the race and has not been able to make up ground since. Whereas up from 13th on the grid, Baz Schuten has really gone well to be running around in that 8th overall. But overtaking is rare, but are we just about to see a move? Yes, we are. So NM Racing get back the position they lost earlier in the race. Not so far behind them. We had Jörg Wiebahn just in the background of the shot, but now his chance of catching up will go away from him because Javier Lloveras, I sensed was the faster of these 2 runners. But having lost the position, was being delayed by the Schuten BMW car 111, which has been driven really, really well. But I really honestly feel the NM Racing Mercedes on a clear lap ought to be able to pull away. Let's find out if I know what I'm talking about. Well, certainly Baz Schuten, having been demoted, fancies getting his way back. How about around the outside of the Arie Luyendyk box? Newly banked, made for overtaking. I'll tell you what, maybe save it for the end of the main straight. Get a good toe. Good exit to the corner, down the dip, onto the start-finish straight they go, and covering the inside line, but his nose is behind, but he's got the inside line into Tarzan, but around the outside, just enough of a margin, just enough of a toe out of the Arie Luyendyk box. So positions back to as they were, gentlemen. Baz Schuten back up into 8th overall, down to 9th, Javier Lloveras. And then they get to Hugenholzbach, 2 totally different lines. It looks as though the move was done and dusted for the Mercedes racer, but staying wide, faster exit line certainly worked for Baz Schuten. And suddenly Lloveras has got company because he's got a challenge from behind. Jörg Wiebahn right on his tail, bouncing over the curbing there at the top of the crest for Allied Racing in his Porsche Cayman. Pit window will be open soon, but I think Duncan Hausmann, I sense Duncan Hausmann will stay out as long as he possibly can. His advantage just under 5 seconds, 4.831 seconds to be absolutely plain. His teammate, though, is busy, has been busy for a number of laps because Jan Kaspalik is all over the tail of the metallic blue Camaro. There it is, just going out of the shot. Jero Panger still holding on to 2nd place, but far behind them, Theo Nue has been busy all race in the AGS events. Aston Martin, he's got Stefan Nemere in the Toyota Supra right on his tail. And then Semboluk Barzi, the blue BMW, and now Willem Meyer's got himself back into the action in 7th place. Really, really close in that run from 4th place backwards. Time after time down the start-finish straight, the Porsche Cayman has looked sleek, has looked good. Whoa, considering a move down in Tarzan didn't come off, but again, a good toe, slightly sleeker body shape, and that Cayman gaining time and time again. But Jan Kaspalik cannot make the move stick. Maybe thinking at this point, maybe I hand over to my very own teammate. In the case of Kaspalik, car number 22, that is Bastian Boos. Maybe he thinks hometown magic can pay off, home circuit for the Dutch racer. When you get drivers running this close in traffic, their lines are always compromised. They're trying to block a charge from behind. They're trying to stick where possible to their own line, the racing line. But once a car is so close in behind, you cannot be on the quickest line on the circuit anymore because someone is going to potentially make a lunge up the inside, and it can get a little bit messy. Great mix of cars. You look down from the front, 2 Chevrolets, a Porsche, an Aston Martin, a Toyota, BMW, and a Mercedes. A real mix of cars, which has always been the story in the GT4 European Series. But also one of the features is whatever manufacturer has a car that's at the front one weekend, it's not guaranteed the next season. It's not even guaranteed at the next race, the performance balance, and that is why we've got all these mates really up close, up at the front end of this field. Whoa, running very, very close to the wall on the exit of the final corner. The Arie Luyendyk bocht was, oh, we're going to retire. No, it's a Swiss driver waiting in the pits. I think that was Jorge Mathias waiting to take over the car that Ivan Giacomo has gone from, well, high up the order, spun around with the opening lap. It's up to 15th place. May yet pick off Bob Herbert, but right now I think one of the early pit stoppers will be the change from Ivan Jacoma to Joel Komathias, waiting down in the pit lane. Really is a story of nose-to-tail racing. Unless your name is Duncan Houseman, sitting on an advantage just under 5 seconds. It's stabilised. It's been there for a while, but there's nothing stable about the battle behind. The positions haven't changed for a while, but at any moment it could happen. Let's say an ambitious move comes in from Stefan Leberay. He could really shake this up, and it's going to take an ambitious move because he can't hang around a great deal longer. He's got Kaspalik Bazi all over his tail in that number 12 turquoise-coloured BMW. And now Willem Meyer has suddenly closed in as they fought in front of him. Willem Meyer was able to gain half a second, get right on the tail for Celestin Racing Team, but then he got too close. You saw the front of the Mercedes washing away right under the rear wing of Bazi's BMW, looking, probing, prying, but it's not happening. No door is being left open. So it really is a case of, as you were, Duncan Houseman, gap about 5 seconds, just under 5 seconds. Then the second of the V8 Racing Camaros, and whatever Jan Kaspalik tries, let's see, does he go as high on the banking? And the exit of the banking went really high last time. Yeah, definitely a higher line of the banking, very close to the concrete wall, whereas Job Rapanga in front of him is a little more conservative, doesn't go so close to the outside of that high bank bend that leads the car down the start-finish straight. But whatever Jan Kaspalik does, it's just not enough to overhaul that Camaro. The NM Racing Team, their Mercedes, Javier Oliveira still continues to fight over 8th place with the BMW from RN Vision STS. That one, 1-1-1 in the hands of Baz Schoon. But it's a great little battle. But these drivers, as the pit window is now open, it's open for 10 minutes from 35 minutes remaining in this race. Just 25 minutes, the clock will continue to count down. Right, if you're at the back of this pack, you're feeling frustrated, you feel your teammate is up to the pace that you can manage, and maybe those around you, they have teammates who have a speed deficit in comparison to the starting driver. Now is the time to consider making a move and making a pit stop. Will Bazi waste any more time sitting behind this battle? So driver change in the pit lane, the second of the AGS events. Aston Martin's car 89, Gilles Vannelet did the first sector of the race, and it's being handed over to his teammate Nicolas Gomar. Sister car still in 4th position, would have hoped to be higher, but Tia Nue doing nothing wrong. But there he is, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, all in the same shot, all in this run of car. Camaro, Porsche, Aston Martin, Toyota, BMW, and then in 7th place, the Mercedes of Willem Meyer. Duncan Houseman, another lap on the board, and he's not planning to pull in anytime soon, but the Porsche, Jan Kaspalik, diving for the pit lane. He's fed up, hasn't managed to shake off or get past the second of those Camaros, and instead of looking at the tail of Joran Panga, he's hoping by pitting now and then a good in and out for the crew, may get it up into 2nd place when the cars emerge. Jan Kaspalik to a standstill in number 22, sprinting out to take over from him for Allied Racing is Bastian Boos, the Danish racer. Let's see, it's always a roll of the dice when to make your pit stops. Maybe Joran Panga is able to just put a little more pace, get a bit more pace out of his Camaro, because suddenly he's not being pushed really, really hard indeed by the Allied Racing Porsche. Car 31, there'll be no driver getting on board that, because Bob Herbert running right at the sharp end in the AMP class. He will stay on to do the 2nd stint as well. Both of the RN Vision STS BMWs in, but one of them, the bonnet is up. That's unfortunate indeed. I think that's the 110 Kurt Bogart's driven car. You don't normally have time for the... Oh, that's looking as overheating big time. Do I sense there's a bit of extinguishing? Yes, so there have been flames somewhere under the front end. You can see the extinguishing up on the windscreen, so don't expect that getting back into the race anytime soon. That's got to be cleared up. Clearing up. How about clearing off? Duncan Houseman now 5 seconds and a bit to the good over Joran Panga, who's just exactly a second. Yeah, the Aston Martin to Tia Nue. When I say a second, that was at the start of the lap, and that has come right down to 1 car length clear in this battle for 2nd place. Duncan Houseman continuing on his way on down the start-finish straight for one more time. He's not going to come in until that pit window is being rattled. The second place Camaro into the pits. It's in lap, lost a bit of time to the cars behind. So up into second place goes Tio Nue in the Aston Martin. Third place now, Stefan Lemre, snaking, braking very, very late indeed for Tarzan. Just managed to get the Toyota under control. But all along, Kaspalik Bazi getting closer and closer behind. So Timon Nabur about to take over from Yoda Panga in the blue Camaro. That was running second, don't forget, but being caught by those behind. Don't worry, you haven't seen Stefan Lemre being demoted. The other Toyota is one further down the field. It's the sister car at the wheel now. Trying to see who's taken that over, but certainly for CMR, it's Timothée Bouret who's taken that over. That's a lap down, but it's made its pit stop. Will gain a lot of that time back, but a little bit of an advantage gained in that battle for the sister car. There you can see Stefan Lemre in the sister car all over the tail of Tio Nue. They're now fighting over second place. Two of the cars in front of them have made those pit stops. Jan Kaspalik came in from third. He's handed over the 22 Cayman. That's now in the hands of Bastien Boost, the Dane. And also, of course, the Camaro, the blue Camaro, came in from second place. Yoda Panga has handed over to Timon Nabur. But you have to say, with that 5-second advantage that Duncan Houseman had over his teammate, he should be able to make the pit stop, hand over to his teammate Jorge Cabezas Catalan, and still retain the lead of the race. But it's anybody's guess what's going to happen in the order behind them. And this time around, out of the lead of the race, I sensed he might go for another couple of laps, but Duncan Houseman is coming in. Jorge Cabezas Catalan waiting to take it over. At their first race meeting, which was the last time out, Nürburgring, 9th and 10th places. So what can they do today? Pull in, you can see that second R Vision STS BMW that had the extinguisher sprayed on it, still sitting in the pit lane, being recovered. Duncan Houseman out looking slightly stiff as he goes around the front, checks that's all right, going back to have a quick word with his teammate Jorge Cabezas Catalan. They'd like him out of the pit lane, out of the way now, and he's got his bearings back and is moving out. So one of the first front runners to call at the pits, number 22, now being pushed on very, very hard indeed. Bastien Boost, the Dane. Will he be a great Dane here at Zandvoort? Pit window still open for another 4 minutes, but the good news for him is he came out of his pit stop in front of the car that his co-driver had been chasing down. So third has become second, and unfortunately second for V8 Racing has become third. But one has to presume with that 5-second advantage, Duncan Houseman's car, the black Camaro, will go back into the lead of the race after this pit stop. Jorge Cabezas Catalan at the wheel. But by staying out for a longer opening stint, will the chasing Aston Martin of Tio Nue and the Supra of Stefan Lemre be able to gain a few vital seconds that will get this front end of the field compressed? We'll find out. The car that came in from the lead of the race looks so it's emerging back into the lead. So that's very good news indeed. But what an opening stint from Duncan Houseman. Did everything asked of him. Tio Nue, will he come in this time around? He's staying out one more lap. No, they're both coming in. So the Supra, Stefan Lemre, Tio Nue diving into the pits. Kaspalik Bazi will now take the lead of the race. So the Borusan Automotive car, Pro-Am lineup there, goes into the lead of the race, but they will owe us a pit stop. Car number 12 will be taken over by Yagiz Gedik. Sam very much the quicker driver in that duo, so he's going to stay as long as he can. The pit window's still open for at least another lap, but when it gets to 25 minutes, if you're not into the pit lane, 25 minutes left in the race, well, you've blown it. You've stayed in too long. Jorge Cabezas Catalan into the lead of the race when he rejoined, but must be said it's worked very well for Allied Racing. They've halved their disadvantage, and more than that, they've moved from third place up into second. Effective second, of course, Kaspalik Bazi is still leading this race. He owes us a pit stop. So what is the gap between the black Camaro and the chasing Allied Racing Porsche with the jaunty little yellow duck on its flanks? It looks like it's down to about 3 seconds, so that's been a very, very good sequence. It was an inspired move for Jan Kaspalik to give up on that battle for second place. Come in, he'd been trying for so long to pass the second Camaro, came in, quick out, and instead of being third, they're second, and certainly hunting down the race-leading Camaro. Kaspalik is obviously going to leave his pit stop as late as he can. If he doesn't do it at the end of this lap, then I think he would have blown it. But right now, still leading this race. Aston Martin coming back out, but it's going to come back out into effective 4th position because the blue Camaro's got itself going. But it has been overtaken in the pits by the CMR Toyota Super Crew. So Stefan Lemeray started that, and the change of order, that's now in the hands of Gaël Kaspalik, fellow French racer. That has worked very well, so much as the Porsche Cayman, Jan Kaspalik handed over by pitting early to Bastien Bus and gained a position. Now, Jagi's Gedit comes running out, Kaspalik about to hop out. This was a car effectively fighting 6th, 7th position. Looked good, looked strong. He's had the longest opening stint of anyone. Has that enabled him to gain a few seconds? Now the battle in the AM class. Bob Herbert staying on for the second half of the race as well. He's got the 89 Aston Martin Nicola Goma all over his tail. Just a quarter of a second between them. Of course, earlier we had Ibrahim Okyay in the Borissan Automotive BMW team in the mix. He's not after the pit stops. It's all about Nicola Goma in the Aston Martin, building on the work that Gilles Vannelet put in the first part of the race to see if he can take the lead from Bob Herbert in the AM class. They're fighting over 13th, 14th and 15th positions. Porsche has somehow just got ahead of Jorge Cabezas Catalan. He came out about 3 seconds down before the pit stops. He was double that behind, but certainly adjusting very well indeed. Was another lap into this second stint before the Camaro came in, or maybe 2 laps into this stint before the Camaro came in. The Camaro losing a lot of time as the Spanish racer tries to get accustomed to it, and now we're about to have a change in behind. The Supra gained a position in the pits. It's gained another one past the second of the Camaros, so suddenly the Camaro is going a little bit backwards on their home patch. In the background, Kaspalik car now in the hands of Jagi's Gedit, comes out behind them, but the big gain has been that CMR Toyota, but the biggest gain of all has been the driver that's taken the lead of the race, Bastien Bus. I said he was quick in practice and in qualifying, now in the lead of the race, the Allied Racing Porsche. Now I really start to sense that this battle in behind, here they come, 3rd and 4th. This pace, it's certainly going to be putting pressure on Jorge Cabezas Catalan. The black Camaro that was sitting pretty at the front of the race in the hands of Duncan Hausman is going to have a battle, not on his hands, it's going to be on his tail in the next few laps. And the 27 Aston Martin trying to regain a bit of ground. Valentin Haas-Clos, he will be catching the back of the pack, but all along that 22 Allied Racing Porsche just starting to find its form, moving into the lead of the race. Now let's have a look at the replay. How did it happen? How did Cabezas Catalan down into turn 9? Well, he left the door a little bit open, and the move was made between 9 and 10. Well, that was very bold indeed for the lead of the race. Catalan feeling his way in on his outlap and waiting not at all for the second opportunity. Bastien Bus realised then was the moment. He's got ahead. In fact, I thought he was going to start dropping him, but right now it looks as though Jorge Cabezas Catalan is getting himself up to speed, and he needs to, because 3rd, 4th and 5th all in one shot behind as he goes through that wonderful bank turn onto the start-finish straight. The Toyota in 3rd place, Gaël Kaspalik, Timon Nabor in 4th, flashing his lights, and in 5th place behind them the Aston Martin of Valentin Haas-Clos. Is there going to be a change of position? There's certainly a dive with plenty of intent in this battle for 3rd place. Timon Nabor wants to do it on home ground. Got his nose in front, but then you get to Gerlach Bocht, he'll fall behind. But if he can stay side by side, he will control the corner as they then dive down into the Hugenholzbocht, which is exactly what he does. No one watching is going to complain about the place changing, and Valentin Haas-Clos trying to make a tidier exit from the Hugenholzbocht. Almost alongside, but he'll be in the right position as they go through the sweepers at the Rob Slaughtermacher box. Unusual to see passing. I've seen several moves today. Very impressive indeed. So up into 4th place for Haas-Clos in the Aston Martin. So that's got the positions back to how they were between the Aston Martin and the Toyota before the pit stops. Let's go down to the pits. And we're going to find out from the crew of the 110 BMW had a fire in the pits, and Koen Bogarts waiting for interview.
Koen, we can see behind us the car here.
Yeah.
Clearly you had the fire. What happened?
That's a good question. I just smelled a little bit of fuel, but it was not that crazy. That's normal sometimes in a race car. But I only mentioned it when I was here.
and then I saw the smoke coming into the passenger floor, and smoke and fire, so I was happy to be in the pit lane.
For sure, and out pretty quickly.
Yeah, because fire is the most nasty thing in racing, so happy to that's clear.
So the car started underneath the hood, right? And then came into the car?
Yeah, it looked like that, yeah.
But nobody knows why?
At the moment we don't know, so we have to figure it out.
A shame to finish the race in that way, but glad that you're safe. Thank you.
Safety is important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good to hear all is fine, but the damage out on the track as well, because the Aston Martin of Valentin has obviously got a little bit close to Team Nebor and has removed the rear bodywork from the, well, effectively where the rear bumper would be at the back of that Camaro. Camaro still in third place overall, but the bodywork then flipped clear. Mercifully didn't catch the Aston Martin as it went, and in behind them Gail Kaspalik will be going. I'm interested, these two are fighting quite hard to see if he can keep on their tail, maybe make a move, but really the body language at the moment is that the Aston Martin is quicker. Obviously got in close enough behind to give it a little tap. That's why the bodywork has come off the Camaro, but the Camaro now on borrowed time in third place overall. Team Nebor is going to have to be very, very staunch in his defence of that position. The Aston Martin is quicker at this point and starting to make a move up alongside. Doesn't always work. Into turn 9, he's made it work up into third place. And look how Gail Castelli in the CMR Toyota also has closed right in. He is fancying his chances as well, but it was a good move and absolutely nailed by Valentin Haslund. Up into third place, Team Nebor back to fourth. Will he stay there? Or will the Toyota have a crack? Well, with 20 minutes remaining, of course it's going to have a crack. Quick check of the timing screens. What's the advantage for Bastien Boos, who made that great move into the lead? 2.2 seconds clear of Jorge Cabezas in the black Camaro. There is the black Camaro, second overall. Now the Aston Martin has got into third. It has got clear track. It's going to set off after him, but there's quite a gap between them. I'd say 3, maybe even 4 seconds. Wait for confirmation. Gap second to third. 2.3 seconds, less than I thought. And certainly that's enough of encouragement for Valentin Haslund to see if he can start closing in on the black Camaro that holds down second. The Aston Martin has tasted victory. Second of the 2 races at Misano, had a second place at the Nürburgring, but has had 2 non-finishes, which hurt its championship's hopes. So it's got to be sure of a top result here. Back in the AM class, it's still Bob Herbert, the yellow Celestar Racing Mercedes, just in front of Nicolas Gomar. So Aston Martin challenging at the front end, third overall in the race, but also challenging for the AM honours and a better exit speed, therefore more speed down the start-finish straight. Oh, showed his hand quite early, diving to look for the inside at Tarzan. But actually it wasn't a serious look for the 89 Aston Martin. Nicolas Gomar just trying to unsettle Bob Herbert, but Bob, well, he's not having anything of it. Good little scrap. They might be fighting over the minor positions, but they're the major positions in the AM class. 13th and 14th overall, but first and second in AM. And they've got a tiny advantage over Ibrahim Okyai, who is now 8 seconds further back in the AM class. Jacopo Barato, the Autolando, one of the 2 Autolando Sport Porsches, just clear of his teammate JM Lippmann, and that's the last of the 17 cars still running. Of course, that number 110 BMW stationary in the pit lanes after the fire when Kern Burgert's brought it in. Now, further up the field, we've got places potentially about to change. Gabriele Piana running 11th in the, number 111 running in 9th place. He's all over the tail now of Yagis Gerik. Yagis has lost a position on this lap alone. The NM Racing Mercedes has also gone past with Luke Ibanez at the wheel. That's up into 7th. Gerik just holding on to 8th place and waving goodbye to 8th place. He had no answer to Gabriele Piana up the inside into Tarzan, made it look easy. But it must be said, the Turkish driver very accommodating in that. He's seen that Piana's quicker and he chose not to hold him up. I do respect that. Bastien Boos leading the race for the Allied Racing Porsche team. They haven't had a win yet this year with one of their cars, but they have with Boos and Kaspalik. They won the second of the 2 races. Sister car, Jörg Vibar, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, huge experience, but the quicker of the Allied Racing duo, and coming on stronger and stronger with 4 Pro-Am wins, 1 outright win. Bastien Boos building on the work of Jan Kaspalik and going really well. 2.5 seconds now in the lead of this race. Just as we continue looking at this AM class battle, you start to feel that Bob Herbert has settled down. The initial push from Nicolas Gomar was super strong, but right now he seems to have answers to every single question that he's asked by the chasing Aston Martin with the French crew. Well, how close would you like second, third and fourth to be? Now we've suddenly got super tight battling. Second is still the black Camaro, Jorge Cabezas. But Valentin Haclo took a very low line. He's trying to get a tow, a double tow for Team Nabor in the Camaro in fourth place, and still trying to hang on in the background, Gael Castelli. But second still stays in the hands of two Camaros with an Aston Martin in the middle. It's the black Camaro, Jorge Cabezas Catalan, being pushed very hard indeed, but not passed by Valentin Haclo. But I feel it really is a question of time. They closed him down, they've caught him. Of course, the Camaro in fourth place, slightly lighter than when it started the race with that missing rear bodywork. Take a look at the rear. It should be not white. There should be a body panel down at the bottom. That has come off after contact with the Aston Martin several laps ago. Hasn't affected its speed at all. But Jorge Cabezas Catalan, the Spanish racer, he's just got to see where he can keep putting that Camaro to hold down second position. And all along, you know what's really good? This is great news for the race leader, Bastien Bus. His lead nearly 5 seconds. Will be going out all the time because certainly the Aston Martin is being compromised. Gets up alongside, makes the move stick very easily into turn 9. They're going to double back to turn 10. And Naburs goes past as well, and around the outside trying to make a move but not managing to do so. Gael Castelli in the Toyota Supra. Maybe by the end of that infield straight down to Hans-Ernst Bock, he will make it stick. Catalan surely can't hang on to that fourth place for much longer. He was second at the start of the lap. He's down to fourth now. Gael Castelli surely will be going through very soon indeed. Maybe as early as the start-finish straight. Maybe he'll wait until they get to the end of it down into Tarzan. But it's all about getting a clean run through this corner, through Kumo, an even cleaner run through the next one, the final corner, then getting a tow, taking a really low line, gets closer and closer to the tow as they come out of the corner. The black Camaro's on borrowed time in fourth place. He's gone from second to fourth on this lap, and the following lap, the one we're just about to start now, well, I sensed he might be passed down into the first corner. But Camaro's quick in a straight line. It's not sleek, but it's certainly got grunt. And in the background of the shot, Nikolai Moller-Madsen. I talked about the more experienced Allied Racing duo. That is it. The second part of which is Nikolai Moller-Madsen. He's now right on the tail of the Camaro. He's caught up very quickly indeed. So look for the little Porsche Cayman with the Dorin sponsorship on it. Falling back off this battle for second and third positions, but fourth, fifth and sixth, very close indeed. Oh, the Porsche nearly pushing the Supra up onto the tail of the black Camaro, hanging back a little bit as they dive down through Chevrolet, gets a cleaner line, a better exit speed. I don't think the move's going to come into this next corner Masters, but it will come in surely to the next one, turn number 9, Boch 9. Nikolai Moller-Madsen going up the inside of the Supra, not quite making the move stick. The Supra hangs on. Gael Castelli doing a great job. A bit of time bought in that fourth place for Jorge Cabezas, but he's almost being attacked from both sides. Great scrapping. Nikolai Moller-Madsen alongside, but importantly on the correct side when they get to the right-hander at Hans-Ernst Bock, almost rubbing it. He pulled across very aggressively across the nose of Gael Castelli, but he's made fifth place his. Now, how about fourth place? His turn to attack Jorge Cabezas Catalan. Bastien Bus, by the way, haven't mentioned him for a short while leading this race. Fraction under 5 seconds clear of Valentin Haclo. Valentin, obviously, once he got clear of the Camaros, setting off after him, but they're down at the far end of the main straight. Team Nabor sticking with the Aston Martin, just under a second down in third place. Still the second Camaro in fourth. Nikolai Moller-Madsen, 21 Porsche, up into fifth, giving chase and trying to pick his moment. Moment will come. He's got a dozen minutes remaining in this race. Jorge Cabezas Catalan, some drivers favour the wider line. He turned a little bit too early and started to compromise himself through Hugenholz, and that's really given an advantage to the chasing Porsche, hopping over the rise at the crest of the hill before they dive down through Chevlac and literally in the boot of that Camaro. Who doesn't come in Masters Bock this following corner? It's the one thereafter. It's about getting a better run into Bock 9, the nose almost alongside the tail of the Camaro. And now it's in front, turn 9, so many passing manoeuvres, but and he's moved across the nose of the Camaro. That means it can't fight back into Bock 10. And now, in fact, another position is about to be shed, or is it? Can Gael Castelli stick it around the outside, the long way round to take 5th position onto the infield straight? No, he can't again. Great poke from the Camaro onto that infield straight, on the run down to Hans Ernst Bock. But the second of those Porsches from Allied Racing up into 4th and pulling away now. Track position can only be maintained if you're not being attacked from all angles, and for Jorge Cabezas Catalan, I'm afraid he was attacked from all angles. He came out into the lead of this race after a brilliant opening stint from his teammate Duncan Hausman, but by dint of pitting earlier, changes from Jan Kaspalik to give him clear track when he handed it over to Bastian Buus. It's put the Porsche Cayman, or one of two from Allied Racing, into the lead of this race, but the gap is suddenly coming down. Valentin Hasklow, don't forget, he got released from the Camaros. The last lap alone, he's set his fastest lap of the race. He's got the gap down from just under 5 seconds to 3.2 seconds. 10.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Suddenly the battle is on. Valentin Hasklow, already a winner this season with Theo Nue. They took one of the 2 wins at Misano. He was in the second race. This is the second race here. Sorry, the first race here at Zandvoort, and could be set fair to take chunks out of the race leader. Look how it's come down. 3/4 of a second on the most recent lap, a second on the previous lap, and a 1/4 second the lap before. That's 2 seconds in 3 laps. That is a big gain. 3.2 seconds between them at the start of this lap, and the good thing for Valentin Hasklow in the number 27 AGS Events Aston Martin is he's just starting to drop Tiemann Nabor off his tail. Doesn't have to give him any consideration now. All eyes to the front. Turquoise tail of the Allied Racing race leader, a Pro-Am, the Pro-Am lineup. That's why it's super impressive. Bastian Buus in a Pro-Am lineup and leading this race overall. Just remember, 3.2 seconds the good at the end of the previous lap. One more corner to go on this lap. Accelerate through that bank curve onto the start-finish straight. Oh, the gap is coming down. Not by quite enough, I don't think, for the Aston Martin. Let's see what the interval is. 3.1 seconds. Only gained a 1/10 of a second on that lap. Early part of the lap, it looked as though it was going to be more than that. Slight frustration for Gael Castelli, still bottled up in that Toyota Supra behind the black Chevrolet Camaro. Jorge Cabezas Catalan has settled into his role. All of these drivers now starting to improve their lap segment. So as the fuel load comes down, the car's getting quicker. As the drivers become more experienced, the car's getting quicker. Both of these cars being caught by someone else chasing up the order. Luc Ibanez, we heard from him before the start of the race. He's in the NM Racing Mercedes, now up into 7th place. Not a lot of time left, but starting to catch this duo in the background of the shot. You can just see, oh dear, the number 30 Mercedes, Willem Meyer, did a great opening stint. Paul Celias has pulled to the side of the circuit, facing the wrong way. Didn't pull there, got spun round there at the Hugenholzbock. Can't get it restarted. He's right where a lot of the drivers like to be. A high run going either side of him, because he's where they want to be when they dive deep into the corner. And now he's going, but this is very tricky indeed. This is not at all desirable place to be. Just went for a spin all on his own, and unfortunately it would be even better if he carried on, rotated on round and gone to the other side of the track. Drivers left, but cars passing to the left and to the right as he sits up there with a tyre off the rim. So maybe it's the puncture triggered the accident, which you would presume triggered the spin, or it happened during the spin, but I think probably the former. The car that had been running well was running up in the 7th, 8th position, is really suddenly going nowhere, and absolutely yellow flags being hung out ahead of the Hugenholzbock for anyone coming in to be aware of the fact the car is there. But the next cars that are going to come past will be surely the leading battle sometime soon. No, just looking at the Autolando Sport Caymans that are bringing up the rear of the field. But there is the race leader flashing through. That's Bastian Buus. Here come the best of the rest. The Aston Martin and Valentin Hasklow. 3.1 seconds down now, gaining not at all. What an uncomfortable place to be sitting. The wave flags very vigorously at the entrance to the corner, but just being on the line that's the natural line for a lot of the field to be taking. SC safety car board is out, so bear in mind that 3.1 second advantage will come down to nothing for Bastian Boos. How frustrating all the day. He's almost got up to the last car in the pack, which should be JM Littmann, 17th place overall. Yes, it is, but goes past him. But we've got the safety car. No, now we've got green flag. Green is going yellow at the top again. I saw the board that said SC for safety car. The field now backing off the pace. So the race leader Bastian Boos has picked up that message. Full course yellow rather than safety car. So they all have to drop down to the mandated speed limit. You know, changing of positions, no gaining of ground. So the Hugenkolb's box is not a place you want to be sitting facing the traffic. They can't see you until they're committed to the corner, and in that left-hand hairpin you don't see the exit until you're halfway around the bend and more. So really unfortunate for Paul Celia's going for a spin in a car that had been driven very, very well by both him and his teammate Willem Meyer in the first part of the race. There it is, sitting facing backwards. Cars had passed it either side, to its left, to its right. Now protected by that rescue vehicle, but with that right rear tyre off the rim, very difficult for him, particularly on a bank curve, to get going again. One thing that slightly springs to mind is, did Bastian, well, let's take a look. Yes, it must have been a puncture for him to lose it like that. The tyre that's off the rim is on the other side of the car, but for Paul Celia's tried to get going, and then without a rear tyre in the correct place, looked as though it'd just been a change of position in the AM class. Yeah, Nicola Gomar had just gone ahead. He was the one that went around the outside of the spun car on the exit of Hugenholzbach. Into the final 5 minutes. It looked as though it was going to be glory for the V8 racing duo. At the moment, it's Team Nabor in 17 who's the better place of the cars. The sister car, 99, the black one, down into 5th place, came into the lead of the race. It was handed to Jorge Cabezas Catalan in the lead of the race. Great rescue work there by the marshals to remove that stricken Mercedes. Question in my mind is, did our race leader Bastian Boos, was the safety car already signalled before he passed JM Littmann? He's now got the car that's running last in the field between him and the car that's giving chase, the Aston Martin of Valentin Haas-Kloh. Because when we get to the restart, when the safety car period and full course yellow comes to an end, that could make it very, very tricky indeed for the Aston Martin. It can't pass the Autolando Sport Porsche now. It has to wait until after the racing is restarted. But look, the number at the top of the screen getting smaller and smaller. The chances for Valentin Haas-Kloh to make a bid for a second win are going to become more and more limited with every further lap done behind the safety car in this full course yellow period. Gael Castelli, number 8, Toyota, running still behind the black Camaro. Jorge Cabezas Catalan. Maybe this restart is his opportunity. As the field bunches up, he's much closer to make a tilt. Where do you make a tilt at Zandvoort? Down into Tarzan. Over the years, over the decades, such a spectacular place to watch racing. Thank goodness it's very slightly banked, or so many cars would just slide straight on into the gravel trap there. The 2 apexes, or apices if you want to be picky about these things. Interesting to see the nose of one of the Borusan Automotive cars. A lot of grass up in the grille. Shouldn't matter too much. Don't expect at this late stage of the race, but we have had overheating or a fuel leak or whatever it was that took out Cohen Bogert's BMW when it came in for a pit stop. Right, safety car in the end of this lap. Bastian Boos backs up the field, and just wait, there'll be sudden acceleration from the Dane, and watching his every move, but aware there's a back marker between him and the race leader. Is Valentin Haas-Kloh, 2nd place in an Aston Martin, 3rd in this train of cars. Bastian Boos pretending he's never ever going to press the throttle down, but here it comes now. He's picked it up, and well done JM Littmann. He knows he's not in this battle. He's pulled immediately over to right of the circuit. That is very, very respectful racing. But if he looks in his mirrors, he's got about 6 cars right behind with their headlights on. But the good news for a race leader Bastian Boos, that was a really, really tidy restart for him. And another person that went well is his teammate up into 4th place, Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Didn't gain a place, but he got right on the tail of Team Nabor, and in behind Lippmann stays out of the way, 2 by 2 driving, looks like it could get messy, the battle for 8th place. Over the curves went Luke Ibanez, sorry, he's in 7th. He was attacking the Toyota for 6th place. Ibanez trying to make up ground, didn't quite work, but incident avoided. Just check further down the order. Bob Herbert flashing his lights, that yellow Mercedes. He's back in 2nd place on Nicola Gomar. Made that move, Gomar did, to put his Aston Martin in the lead of the AM class just before the safety car period. Sebastian Buus controlled that restart absolutely beautifully. Just over 1 and a bit minutes remaining in this race, and certainly this little battle is far from over. If you're, well, we've just had a change of position one way and then go back the other, because the second Toyota Supra has suddenly moved up a place at the expense of the NM Racing Mercedes, and that's Timothée Bouret making progress in 66. Yeah, well, there's half a chance, you take it. Lights getting lower and lower, cars just about staying on the track. No wonder there's flashing of the lights. That's the Borissan Automotive car. Jager's getting shoved out of the way, and Joel Comatius gaining position. In fact, they both lost a bit of ground to the AM class runners who stepped up. Nicola Gomar and Bob Herbert spotted the cars out of position and gained position on the track ahead of both of those cars in front of them, who are now behind. Half a minute to go until the end of the hour of racing. Little safety car period, a frisson of excitement, broke up a few battles but created others. But if anyone's going to make a move, they've really got to get their act together. Bastian Buus has done absolutely enough. His advantage was 3.1 seconds the lap before the safety car came out. It's down to 1.3 seconds, but surely on this, the final lap, he should be able to defend that. It'll be 2 wins in a row for Buus and Kaspalik, and it'll be their 5th win from 7 starts as a Pro-Am entry. So as Pro-Am entries go, it's super, super strong. Teammate for Allied Racing, Nikolai Moller-Madsen, getting very, very close to Team in the board. This might be the place change on this, the final lap, but the lap is halfway through there at Shea Black, down into the dip. The Porsche Cayman getting a better exit run from the corner. Early turn into the Masters Boch from Team in the board. He knows what he's doing. He's blocking the line, but you have to close the door at Boch 9. He sort of semi-has. Someone's knocking on that door, and it's Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Looks like the Porsche's just ahead, but of course it goes the other way. When you have the long left-hander, you've got to ride it out around the outside. Can the Porsche driver do it? He's quicker off the exit of the corner, but comes from further back. But he's now got position, surely, as they run down towards the right-hander. Hans-Ernst Boch could get messy if the Cayman doesn't get into the corner first, does so just, but then trying to take the inside line for the second part of the Hans-Ernst Boch, it doesn't work. So on this, the final lap, it's Porsche Caymans. They started 1st and 4th, and now for Allied Racing, as we get to the end of the lap, they end the final lap, they're up to 1st and 3rd. But first, it's in the hands of Bastian Buus. The race was started by Jan Kaspalik. Looks as though he's all on his own. Valentin Hasklo had a really valiant run in 2nd place, but couldn't make the most of that safety car restart and ends up still in 2nd place, but in behind a really good run on that final lap to move up to be 3rd overall. Nikolai Moller-Madsen, that was a great little finish to the race for him, and a real case of what might have been for the V8 Racing Camaros. 4th and 5th overall. So we just don't put your seat away. We haven't seen the checkered flag. It's shown at the top of the screen, so we may still be racing. Maybe the graphic didn't correspond with what's happening. Certainly look at the pace of the cars that they are still racing. So suddenly Timo Nabor is seeing if he can strike back, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to catch Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Bastian Buus, in fact, picked up his pace on that last lap just to be absolutely sure. Let's take a look. Bastian Buus still leading the race for Allied Racing. 3rd place Allied Racing, and in between them the Aston Martin of AGS Events, Valentin Hasklo. Then comes the better of the 2 Camaros, Team in Nabor, Jorge Cabedas, Catalan. Look on this lap alone, he's dropped way back. In fact, Catalan is missing in action. No, he's fallen back. He's lost 3 positions. The Supra's come through. Gael Castelli, I would say he forced the manoeuvre, but he may have a problem. What's the contact between them? Because look, Castelli was passed very easily. Somebody, Gabriele Piana, the yellow and turquoise Mercedes BMW comes through, chased by, well, who's chasing him? Got Mercedes tucked up under his rear wing. Was that Luke Ibanez? It could well have been, but let's see. There is no debating. This is now definitely the final lap. The checkered flag unfurled and victory, and only just second place for the Aston Martin. It's first and third. Bastian Buus is first. His teammate Nikolai Moller-Madsen into that third place and didn't quite get second, but it was tight at the finish. And then a really good final lap for Gabriel Piana and Luc Ibanez to rise from 7th and 8th to 5th and 6th. What went wrong for Jorge Cabezas? My money is that Gael Castelli attacked, the move didn't work, and those behind gained position. You grab what you possibly can, but nobody could defeat not just the overall winners, but the Pro-Am winners as well. They are the same. Jan Kaspalik started, and it was finished very well indeed by Bastian Buus, coming on super strong in this championship as the season really starts to stretch its legs. Second place for Aston Martin, but no doubting the winner, Bastian Buus, so no wonder looking very, very pleased indeed. The end of a cracking day of racing here at the Zandvoort circuit. It looks like the weather might be unkind, but it dried out and became very good indeed. Gentle wind off the North Sea. Difficult in the morning to get track temperature, but this point of the day, the track was kind. Silver Cup winner, overall winner. And Silver Cup, sorry, is in second place overall. Valentin Haskell, second overall. And the third place Allied Racing car also running in the Pro-Am class. So they're really putting it to the big boys, Allied Racing. But I must say the Cayman looked very, very good here. And it seemed to be really handy through that final corner, which is great because that means you're quick down the start-finish straight. And the Cayman is sleek. That certainly gave it a trump card to play with in the battle. Fourth place, Tiemann de Boer with most of his Chevrolet Camaro. Obviously the rear bodywork got hampered. You can see at the edge of the track all sorts of bits of tyre debris and gravel that people have dragged onto the circuit, but a good clean race. And the winner in the Am Cup was Gilles Vannelet, and the job was finished by his teammate Nicolas Gomar. And at the end, Bob Herbert was 6 seconds down. He fought valiantly in his solo attempt, but in the end had to give to the better pace of Nicolas Gomar. So Aston Martin second overall, top in the Silver Cup and top in the Am Cup. So plenty of points for them to put in their pots at AGS events. And just to give credit where it was due, Joel Comathius took third place in the Pro-Am class despite being 12th overall, but that was the car that was spun on the opening lap on the approach to Chevlac. I've only just recovered from that incident. It was very, very dramatic, but those behind managed to avoid it somehow. You really do have to ask questions sometimes. So our race winner, happy to let everybody pass him as he comes in. Jan Kaspalik started it, Bastian Buus finished 2.3 seconds to good of the Aston Martin of Thierry Nue and Valentin Haskell. Teammate Jörg Wiebahn and Nikolai Moller-Madsen put Allied Racing first and third. And then V8 Racing, they had high hopes. In the end, they came home in 4th and 5th positions. Jura Panger just holding 4th, holding sway from Duncan Hausman's car that was handed to Jorge Cabezas. Catalan in the lead, fell down to 5th place, and then behind them it was very busy indeed with Stefan Lemeray and Gael Castelli 6th in the better placed of the two Toyota Supras, and those behind got very, very close, but eventually that was the top 6. Top car in the Silver Cup class was second overall. Top car in the Pro-Am class won the event, and top Am runner, eventually it went the way of the Aston Martin that Nicolas Gomar brought to the finish. First back into the paddock was the Aston Martin that finished second overall, the silver class winner. That was Valentin Haskell, still waiting for the race leader, but as you can see, he was coming in very slowly indeed. Obviously overjoyed, or perhaps out of fuel, who knows. So what an interesting race, I must say. Some real highlights in that. And for a lot of the chasers around the bottom end of the top 10, another lap would have done them very well indeed. But still useful points, and Valentin Haskell being greeted by Thierry Nue. Good points for them again today. After 2 non-finishes, that's their second consecutive second place. That's really helping them in the championship battle. The board's being moved around down below, still waiting for Bastian Buus to come in as the bottom. Yes, you parked in the wrong place, you're not parking where the winner comes. That's what Jan Kaspalik is suggesting. He's changed the boards around. Thank you very much to his teammate Bastian Buus, who's come in. It says number 22 on the door, but it'll be 1 on the windscreen. 001, you can see the lights flashing. Overall winners for Allied Racing. That was victory last time out, victory this time around. Not just that, they are the Pro-Am winners as well, with 2 overall wins in succession. So all smiles all round at Allied Racing. So let's go down to hear the thoughts of Jan Kaspalik, starring opening role, and Bastien Boos, who finished with victory.
Jan, fantastic result. You started the race and Bastien brought it all home.
Yeah, it's quite, in the end it was quite easy, I would say. I really had a good start. I could overtake one. The Camaro was a little bit then too, I would say we could go much faster. But in the end, for the Pro-Am Championship, it's important not just to finish and not to do any risk. That's why I was staying behind and saving tires for Bastien and handing over on P3. So now it's Bastien's turn.
And Jan has just said that was very easy. Do you agree, Bastien?
No, it's not easy always. It's not always easy. But yeah, as he said, he saved the tires, so the car was perfect for me. The outlap was good. We already overtook the second place Camaro, and then I could easily catch up to the first one. And then he made a big mistake where I could go on the inside and take the lead. So. Yeah.
Fantastic performance from both of you. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jan Kaspalik and Bastien Boos, and again, all those years of experience from Jan Kaspalik, knowing when the tyres are sweet and what to do with them. And he couldn't get past the 2 Camaros, gave up and came in early on, and that was the trump card. He gave lovely tyres over to Bastien Boos, and Bastien did the rest, outwitted the Chevrolet Camaros and made it look very easy. But then, of course, it wasn't easy all the way to the finish, because the gap came right down when the safety car came out. But let's go down to the paddock again for another interview.
Valentin, Theo, fantastic to see you in second place, but most importantly for you, the class win as well.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun in this race. Fighting with the other was what I was waiting for since the beginning of the year. And I just want to thank all my support in France.
Absolutely, and to see you both smiling so much as you're getting out of the car is wonderful. But like you say, there was a lot of jostling for position in that race.
Yeah, Valentin did an amazing job. I mean, this stint was crazy, amazing pass, and yeah, he did an amazing job. My start was quite okay. I was struggling with the car, but at the end we are P1, so we're super happy.
Congratulations, well done both of you.
Thank you.
So good to hear. First from Valentin has close, then Tia Nue, and it really was a case of having to be clever in the course of the battle, but they took that second place, and Allied Racing took third as well, so the team that finished first and third have the biggest smile. They've got to do it all over again tomorrow, but for Aston Martin, they had a good meeting here, second, and also winning the AM class as well, so should be very pleased indeed. There are the trophies, last trophies of the day waiting to be apportioned, but 1 hour of really good solid racing there. Plenty of really interesting overtaking, and you could really see when there were big packs of cars, one little mistake from one driver and they could lose 3 positions at the blink of an eye. Well, let's go down to hear from our AM class winners. I said it was good for Aston Martin, and Nicolas Gomart brought it home.
A fantastic win for you guys there in the AM class, both beaming and very happy with that performance, but it was an interesting race for sure.
Yes, amazing race, because we are not lucky with the qualifying, with a problem, and we start last, we wait, I learned the truck, because during the practice there was many difficulties with the weather, and wait and see, and final fantastic with Nico, made a fantastic job with the winning place.
Gilles, it certainly was a fantastic performance, and it wasn't sewn up until fairly late on into the race.
It's very difficult for me because I have mal à la tête.
You have a sore neck?
Yeah, I'm very happy for the team. We work very hard along the season, and I'm very happy to win this race. We start at the end of the grid,
sure,
and I'm very happy.
Brought it through to the top. Congratulations, well done to both of you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
So Gilles Vanderlei and Nicolas Gomart, and they had to hunt down Bob Herbert. Hunt them down they did, but clearly it took the toll on the neck. These bank corners, they're tough for the drivers. Imagine what they're going to be like in a Formula 1 car when they come out here to play. But the Mercedes couldn't stay in front, hunted down at the end by Nicolas Gomart. in the final stint of the race, but they'll be very pleased. AM victory for AGS Events and second overall. It's been a good meeting for them.
Championship, third place finisher. Give them a warm round of applause. Ivan Yakoma and Joel Camatias.
So third place finishers in the Silver Cup class. The Porsche Ticino team, sorry, that's the third in the Pro-Am class, I beg your pardon, Joel Camatias. That was the car that was spun around. Even Jacoma, scary moment into Chevlac on the opening lap, but they fought their way back to 12th overall, but third in Pro-Am. Nikolai Moller-Madsen, third place in car 21, and his teammates who kicked it all off, Jörg Wiebahn. They were closing in another couple of laps, and they might have gone on to second overall, but their teammates who win the Pro-Am class, well, they were first overall. We've already heard from them. Bastian Boost and Jan Kaspalik, a great haul for the Porsche crews.
Also the overall winners, please fast forward. For Allied Racing, for the trophy, for the overall win of this GT4.
There we are, Bastian Boost, Jan Kaspalik in the Pro-Am Cup. That victory overall stretches their advantage over their own teammates to now 31 points over Nikolai Moller-Madsen and Jörg Wiebahn. Sem Bolokbazi and Yagis Gedik losing a bit of ground, falling back to third in the Pro-Am class.
Yeah, take the right trophies, not the wrong ones. In second place, Job Ravange and Nabers.
So that was Jorge Capedas and Duncan Hausman coming out. They took third place in the Silver Cup class. Second place was Timon Nebor, teammate, and Yoropanga.
And the winners of the GT4.
And the winners, second place overall. AGS event in this Aston Martin. Valentin Hasklow building on the work of Tio Nue to finish second overall, but to take the Silver Cup honours.
And everything in right good atmosphere among the different teams. That's great. Of course, is everybody sort
So
of.
let's take a look. The Aston Martin crew now just 4 points clear of Gabriel Piana and Baz Schuten, who were closing in the final laps of the race. Just running out short as the hour came to an end. So Aston Martin at the head in that championship.
In third place, it's Ibrahim Okiai.
So now the AM class honours, third place going to Ibrahim Okiai, 14th place overall for Borusan Automotive Motorsport BMW racer. Second place in class, did the whole distance as Okiai did. That's Bob Herbert, Celislaw Racing Team Mercedes.
Well done.
And then the AM winners will come out. Nicola Gomar, we heard from him earlier, and Gilles Vanelay. They will take the final trophies of this, the first day of full racing at this meeting at Zandvoort. It's been a great day, so much variety, some cracking racing, and great to see the New Bank corners in action.
And they're happy with it. That's quite true. Nicola, congratulations. Gilles as well.
So Nicola Gomar and Gilles Vanelay, there they are, the middle of the screen. There they are, sitting on a 25-point advantage over Bob Herbert. They stretched their advantage today, but Bob really made them fight for it, and I expect him to do exactly the same again tomorrow. But looking back to the start of the race, it was Duncan Hausman who put his nose in front from pole position in the black Camaro, in behind, very, very tight indeed. But the second Camaro moving into second place for Jo Rapanga, being challenged by Jan Kaspalik. And very short order, the Porsche got into second place, but then another Porsche down the field, even Jacoba, going for a rotation out of the Slottermacher box and spinning, getting it onto the circuit again just before they got to Chevlac. So very, very busy opening lap for him. And in behind, NM Racing Mercedes finding himself a little further down the order than normal. Bob Herbert came in to the pit stops. He doesn't have to worry about finding his teammate because there wasn't one. He's driving it. So a problem, a fire in the pit lane for Kern Bogarts in one of the two RN Vision STS BMWs, and in behind it got very, very busy on the circuit. Duncan Hausman led the race all the way to the pit stops. He was 5 seconds clear, but by the time his teammate came out, those in behind were hunting him down, and very soon Jorge Cabezas Catalan was passed by Bastian Boost, and then everybody else fancied a crack at the black Camaro. Valentin Hasklow got close. Timon Nebor was in the business as well. He had the tail of his car tapped and a bit of bodywork missing. And then up came Nikolai Moller-Madsen, the number 21. Toyota the Toyota being passed, but the Porsche coming through. Then Paul Celia's had a puncture, spun, and this suddenly brought out the full course yellow, the safety car, bunched up the field, but Bastien Boost controlled the real start very well indeed, and he came through to win at the end of the day for Allied Racing. A great day for the Porsche team. They were first and third, and between them, Valentin Hurst-Clos took second place for Aston Martin and AGS Events.